Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this E-HEELP electric car jack, impact wrench, and inflator kit. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So let's get this opened up. So it has this blow molded case here. So this can be powered with a 12-volt socket, or you can clamp on to the battery of your car. So the max on this is 13 amps. My car sockets are rated at 10 amps. That's probably pretty common. So if I have a particularly heavy car, I might hook this up and clip it onto the battery, but I'm guessing this would also just work from the socket. So a lot of cars you do have to leave on to plug into the socket. So you can just pop the hood, hook these up to the battery, and then plug in here, and then plug this into your tool. So here's the impact. So this has forward and reverse on here, has a level to help you get your lug nuts level. Here's the input. This comes with two sockets. It has a 19 millimeter and a 21 millimeter. It does come with gloves. That's very nice. Might as well put those on now. They're kind of grippy. Okay, so these gloves are a little bit small for me, but they'll do the trick in an emergency. Keep my hands a little bit cleaner. There is oil on these sometimes from manufacturer. Let's see what we got in here. Okay, so this is an extension for the jack. So this will screw into it to give it a little bit higher lift. So the lift on here is 6.1 to 20.86 inches. And here's the jack itself. So this is quite heavy. So this is going to unthread from here, and then we can thread in this extension. So if you have a really high truck or something, you can thread in the larger one. So let's look at this. There's metal on the bottom, and we have some rubber pads there. I should take the gloves off. There we go. Yeah, there's some rubber here, metal here. So the part that's being jacked against is metal on the bottom here. There's accessories. Let's pop that open. Oh, this is nice. We have extra fuses. We have a hex key. That would be for releasing the hydraulic fluid if it gets stuck in the up position. Then we have some inflator nozzles here, like for a basketball or something. For the other side, here's the air pump. Pull that open. Okay, so we have a nozzle there for the air pump, and it's a whole cord. And looks like this is our power. So I'll pull that down. Let's take a quick look at this here. It says warning. It says put on your handbrake before using the jack. So that is an important thing to point out, is that this is a tool, but you do need to know how to use the tool still. So you need to know your proper jack points and such on your car. Also, you don't want to ever get under the car while it's jacked up unless you have a jack stand. So it says start your car first, then plug in the power cable. So they want you to start your car so that alternator is keeping that battery charged up. Then insert the plug. Before using the electric jack, screw off the head so you can raise that head up. Now you see these cross marks in here. If you have a pinch weld that's your jacking point, you can line your pinch weld up with that, and that'll make it a little bit more stable. It says do not incorrectly connect the positive and negative terminals. So I would connect the red clamp to the positive first, and then connect the negative to the black second. There's a fuse here in the tip, so you can unscrew the tip and replace the fuse. It says not to use the 12-volt socket for over 12 minutes. It can get very hot. Okay, so here's the instruction manual. So this would be for the impact. So you want to plug it in. You want to make sure it's going the right direction for tightening or loosening. It says don't use it for more than 10 minutes. This is not made to work in a production shop where you're changing tires all day. This is if you're broke down on the side of the road and you need to change a tire. So you want to read through the rest of these cautions here. Here's the jack manual. So definitely read through all the safety warnings in the operation, because I won't cover every single thing in here. So here's the manual. You could pause this and try and read through here if you lost your instructions for yours. So here's the jack function. It says stop the car, tension the car brake, check the switch whether it is closed position. It should be at 0 state. If not, do that first, then connect the power to the car cigarette lighter. Put the jack in the side of the car tire, ensure the center pressure of the rod align the loading part of the automobile chassis, then rotate the adjusting screw to make it close to the automobile chassis as far as possible. Adjust the switch to the lift, the direction switch to up, then the jack will start to work till the distance between the car tire and the floor is about 5 centimeters. Reset the power switch. While the power is disconnected, the machine would lock automatically and won't fall. After changing the tire, adjust the direction to down. The jack would start to fall at a constant speed. Finish all. Please collect the cables and tools in the line winding box. So then we have the inflator. Prepare the equipment, pull out the air hose, and choose a suitable inflatable head to connect, then turn on the power. Adjust the function switch to inflation, then it would start to inflate. Please check the change of the pressure gauge. If finishing, please close the power first, then pull out the inflator head to collect the toolbox. Later, also pull out the plug from the cigarette lighter and collect the cables into the toolbox. So here's some fault diagnosis here. I'm actually going to get all this out of the way. So I'm going to do some testing on my bench here, and I'm just going to use this portable power station that has a DC input. So this is a 10 amp input, which is about the same as most cars. So I'll plug in the impact, and I'm doing this here just so I can have a little bit more detail on my bench. There's better lighting here, and then I'll go test it on my car. So I'll go plug this in. I'll plug this in here, and I'll press DC on my power supply. You can see there's an LED light here that kind of lights up your work area. Now I'll press this. So that's going in reverse. going forward. Now I'm going to look here and see how many amps. This is drawing 2 watts right now. So it got up to about 100 watts. So that would be about 8 amps. So that's not under load. Needless to say, when you're removing lugs, this will be under load. So I'll unplug this now. Let's connect it up to the jack. So the power cord comes out this little door here. We can plug into it. Okay, turn it on. I need to plug this in. And there is a piece of protective film here. I'm just going to leave that on there. I'll peel it off someday. So we can turn this on and off. So when I plugged it in, it did turn on. We can hit up here. So you can see it's raising this. So it's drawing about 70 watts right there at 12 volts. So now I can put it down. And now I can turn it off. Turn that back on. It had light here. See where the light's coming out. Oh, that's neat. The light is right here. And there's a light in the front also. That is really neat. So it's shining up where you're jacking. That is handy. That's very thoughtful. So when you put this under there, you're going to be lining this up with something like a pinch weld. You have that light, pointing the light where you need it. Then it has that light straight ahead also. Now some might see this and say, oh, this is not as stable as a full-on mechanics jack. And they're right. That's not meant to be. But I think this is definitely on par with the jack that would come with your car. And I say on par, actually probably better. This thing's very heavy, but when you're on the side of the road, you still need to be very careful with what your base you're jacking against is like. You don't want to jack against soft ground. All the same safety rules apply. So this also has the air pump here. So we can press this to turn it on, and that hose is still in there. And if we look at the controls here, we have the unit. So we can change from PSI, bar, kilopascals, kilograms per centimeter. So I'm in the US, so I'll go to PSI. And it looks like we can set this. It started at 30, but I can go up and down from there. So I can set that, turn on the air pump, and it will pump up to that pressure. That's really slick. So when you're done, you'll unplug this here, tuck that away. Let's see if it goes back in the box easy. So I just measured this cable. It's a little bit over 12 feet. Okay, I got all this fit back in here. So this extender kind of goes diagonal from this corner to right here. If I pushed it in too far, it was lifting up on this, so that was getting tight. And then this fits here, and then I tuck the cords in here through the gloves on here. So it's kind of a tight fit, but you want a tight fit. You don't want this to rattle around a lot. So I'm going to head out to my car, and we'll jack up the tire and take the tire off as if we had a flat. Okay, so I'm out here at the back wheel of my Subaru Outback, and I just noticed on the back side of this case, we have a safety triangle there. So if you're on the side of the road, you can put this up and it will help alert people that you're having trouble. So I'm still going to use my power station here, so this way I don't have to start the car. So this is how long those threads are. So you'll want some of this left in there, so I'll probably thread it to at least 1 inch in there. I don't know if I need that much. But by screwing this up, it's going to speed up the process. Okay, so I have this in approximately the right position. I'll take this and plug it into my 12 volt power on. I'll turn this on here, and let's turn that light on. There we go. Okay, we can see this is almost lined up with that pinch weld here. I'll press up. Okay, so we're off the ground. So we're at the proper height. I'll hit that off. So now I can take the tire off. So I'm using some other mechanics gloves, and I'll keep those clean for later use. So the impact's plugged in. I need 19 millimeters, so I have that on there. It's in reverse. So I have not loosened these lug nuts, but since this is an impact, it should still take them off. So I'm going to take the bottom one off last. That way the tire doesn't flop out on me. So this battery wasn't cutting it, so I have this hooked up to the battery here. So now the wheel's off. So to put it back on, I would recommend hand threading your lug nuts on. Put that bottom one on first. Make sure your rim is seated all the way. It's not a bad idea to thread these on all the way as far as you can with your fingers. I'm going to tighten these in a star pattern. You want to make sure to retorque these to the proper torque once you get to a place where you have a torque wrench. So now we can lower the vehicle. Now that the pressure's off, I'll let this all the way down. Then I can screw this back in. And you want to press this button. It doesn't shut off on its own, so you want to press the down button to turn it back off. Well, I don't need any air in my car tires, but I still wanted to demonstrate the inflator here, so I'm going to inflate this bicycle tire. I'll take the hose and I'll screw it onto the valve. This says it's at 8 psi, so I'll change this to 65, and then I'll hit air pump. Okay, you can see that PSI readout there, now it says 65. So now I'll unscrew the valve. I'll try and do it quickly so I don't lose a bunch of air. That was really slick. That was super easy to air up this tire to the exact PSI. So that's the E-HEELP electric car jack, impact wrench, and inflator. This could be very useful if you're traveling and you have a flat tire. It's currently 96 degrees Fahrenheit right now where I live. If I had a flat tire, I want to change it as fast as I possibly can. With a kit like this, I can throw the electric jack down there, use the impact to zip the lug nuts off. I can get that thing changed very quickly. And if you're like me, most of the time, my spare tire does not have enough air in it. So this comes with an inflator so you can top off your spare tire. Of course, if your car just has a slow leak, you can just inflate the tire that's already on it. The inflator can come in handy for many things. You can pump out bike tires with it, car tires. You can inflate beach balls and such. You're having a day at the beach. Someone brings a new beach ball. You can be the hero by bringing this thing out and inflating it for them. So you do want to check that these fit your lug nuts. The 19 millimeter is going to work on most passenger car tires. The larger one will most likely work on maybe bigger cars, some trucks. Oh, and these are double-sided, I just realized. Or this one is. Both of them are. Okay, that's good. So this has 17 to 19, and this is 21 to 23. So you have the different sizes here. You just flip it over. So you actually have 4 sizes of sockets here. So that's very handy. That's going to cover a wider range of vehicles. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.